member of the Pasadena Improvement Association. Now, what the association did, it took 60% of the residents of Pasadena that had racial covenants. One of the areas that the powers to be in the association, it was made up of bankers, businessmen, that wanted to have these covenants in place. Now, one of the places that was a free zone was Northwest Pasadena. And as we continue to tour, we're going to see what African Americans did with their 40% of residents here in Pasadena. And that was the strategy of the leaders in Pasadena at that time, was to create a black middle class community. And we'll see some other things today that will give you an idea on how this middle class black community in Northwest Pasadena is destroyed.
And that covenant was incorporated in the deeds of the property. It wasn't just a piece of paper, it was in the deeds. Did not sell. Citywide, pretty much.
And so here's some of the language of the deed. For any property brought or sold in Pasadena, that said premises shall not be occupied or used by any person or persons other than those of the Caucasian race, provided, however, that the foregoing restriction should not be construed to prohibit the keeping of domestic servants of any race. The covenants were highly effective. By the 1920s, few African Americans, Latinos, and Asians resided in the restricted areas of Pasadena. And so this was where we lived.
Part of it was broken up by they would have someone buy Caucasian buy the property, confront it, and then they would then turn it over and resell it out to one of the deal. That's how they got around covenants.
And so one of those stories regarding covenants took place about Walkerville. It's going to be out of our walking distance today. But African American couple, the residents filed a lawsuit against them because they were African American owners of a home. And there was an attorney by the name of Lawrence Miller that he fought that case, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court. Lawrence Miller's co-counsel on that case was Thurgood Marshall. So, Lawrence Miller was a bad dude. Now, one thing that doesn't get talked about Lawrence Miller is when the Japanese were interned at PCC at Santa Anita Racetrack, he paid their mortgages so that they had homes to come back to after they were released from internment. So, we've got heroes and sheroes in abundance in this part of Pasadena. And, just like everything else, it gets to a point where when our white people are going to get out of our way. And so when our branch turned 100 years old, we had an event, City Council, to celebrate 100 years. And I got the microphone. And I told them that if we're here another 100 years from now, we have all failed as people. Because we got to get over this race thing. And if it takes another 100 years, we all fail. So I made a challenge to the City Council to end this in 35 years. And so, of course, people thought I was crazy. And, you hang around enough, I may be. But, we really got to start coming out with a different point of view on how we're going to get along with one another. Because if we don't, it's going to destroy us all. And so, we're going to start, walking through the neighborhood. The house on the corner was owned by Flip Valentine. He's the brother of Fred Valentine that owns Woods and Valentine Sportswear. Now, a good piece of trivia about this house is Cliff allowed his niece to be married there. And she married a basketball player by the name of Lucius Allen. You may have heard of Lucius Allen.
Oh, yeah.
But his best man was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, as we proceed, the house on the corner on the left was owned by James Slick Stocks. James Stocks was an all-around athlete. But his thing that when I got wind of him, he was a tennis player. And he was one of the baddest tennis players in Pasadena. And he would win annual tennis tournaments that they threw here. So he was a real kind of pace setter. And I met him as he was my counselor at John Muir High School.
Even before Jackie, he was an outstanding athlete at Pasadena High School back in the day. He ended up being a mail carrier, and then he went back to school and ended up being a counselor. So, like you always have a chance. Just keep pursuing. No matter what. Don't let them get in your way.
Okay, so
And
we're gonna.
tell Valentine over here. Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry.
Remember we had Gigi service there?
That was the first time I ever seen a garage with no floor.
Hi, how you doing? Now, is there a
Plaque.
yeah,
This is the new Rubenick night fence, I guess.
yeah, but
I
I'm
was
looking for
thinking
the
there
plaque.
should be a plaque, but I don't.
Oh, is it one right there? Okay, thanks. There we go. Thank you.
Now, Lisa, you doing the same thing next week, right?
Yeah, I'm taking note.
And I'm riding next week, too.
That's good. I might have to tell the parents to bring their bikes
Oh, okay.
because I think it nice be.
It's not a bad. This is a hump here, and then you got this, but it's gradual.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Thank you.
What time are you doing it?
We're doing ours, I think, 1:30.